Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about the best way to figure out how to get started in achieving the tones of your favorite players. A couple videos back, I talked about the importance of learning to play in the style of what you want it to sound like. Meaning, if you play shredder style guitar and try to go play a blues jam, your skill set's not going to match up. So I'll link to that video so you can take a look at it if you'd like to. It basically just talks about your approach to how you play the guitar. Once you get past that, the gear does matter, of course. So we're going to take a look at some resources to how you can see what your favorite artists use to hopefully give you a starting point as to what you can do to try to get those tones as close as possible. So let's hop over. We'll take a look at a couple websites, and then we're going to take a look at HX Edit and build through some stuff to see if this works. So let's check it out. Okay, so the first thing we'll take a look at is an archive of a website called Guitar Geek. Guitar Geek was great because it had diagrams of all these famous guitar players' rigs. It's what they used, but also the routing, some of which, was pretty complicated. So it was very interesting to see how a lot of these pros set their rigs up. Unfortunately, the site doesn't seem to be around anymore, but thankfully the Internet Archive is. So I'll put a link in the description below to this site. It's very, very helpful. I wanted to start with something very, very basic, just because I didn't want to build a super complicated preset for this, and something that most everyone would know. So I'm just going to search really quickly for Hendrix, because it doesn't get much simpler than that in terms of components. A couple Marshalls, Vox, Wah, Octavia Fuzz, Fuzz Face, Univibe. Pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do, because we're going to try to sound like Hendrix, is we're going to build this type of rig in Helix. You could do this with any amp modeler, or if you have the real world pedals, this is how you would do it. One other thing before I hop over to HX Edit, I just want to point out, there's a Vox Wah model in the Helix, but Dunlop has this chart, which is really helpful. It shows basically the frequency range of a lot of their wah pedals and signature wahs. And when we come to the Hendrix signature, we see the range was 290 hertz to 1.5K. So just showing that really quickly, because that is how I set the wah up in this Helix preset. So having said that, let's take a look at HX Edit. I just chose the throaty model because a lot of the models do allow you to select basically, like I said, the low and the high frequency range. So we've got that. We've got the octave fuzz. We've got the fuzz face. We've got the Univibe. We have I just chose a plexi. A couple of 4x12 cabinets right now. They're identical. Haven't made any changes. Compression and reverb, that's just something that's on the end of every one of my patches. I haven't tweaked this really at all. Just pulled everything up. So we're going to play around with it and see what we can get out, how close we can get to Hendrix. This is more, well, I'll share this preset. It'll be free. There'll be a link in the description below but the idea is just to show you kind of how this works out if you want to try to do this for yourself. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm using my Variax, using the Strat, just completely Strat model, obviously because that's what Hendrix used. I'm going to stick with that. So right now we'll just hear what we have. Again, haven't touched any of the controls, haven't made any changes yet. So let's just see what our bass tone sounds like. That's not bad, actually. Because we have, the Octavia and the fuzz face that we're going to kick in at some point. I'm going to actually back the drive back to get a cleaner bass tone. And speaking of bass, I'm going to pull a little bit back and push a little more treble. Let's see what we get there. Yeah, it's getting closer. I'm going to pull the gain back just a little more, just to give us a more clean option if we wanted it. Yeah, okay, I like it. To be honest, I'm probably not going to play around with the cab block too much because it's kind of giving me what I want. I'm just trying to ballpark this here. I'm not trying to get, super, super detailed. Let's see what the wah sounds like. I think that'll work. All right, let's introduce now the fuzz face. Yeah, let's see, I might pull just a little bit of the fuzz back. The fuzz face model in Helix, to my ears, is a little dark and bass heavy. I've listened to some podcasts and stuff, people talking about gear, particularly fuzz faces, and apparently there was quite a bit of variation from unit to unit that supposedly Hendrix would go through big lots of them to find the ones they like. So if you notice that this is a little bassy, one of the things, if I'm trying to build my own Helix preset, I sometimes will pair the fuzz face with an EQ block to turn them on and off at the same time to kind of carve out some of that low end. That's completely getting sidetracked, but just letting you know. If that's the kind of fuzz tone you're looking for, perfect. If it seems a little, you're losing some definition and clarity to the heavy bass end, just throwing that out there, you can drop an EQ block in there and play around with that. Okay, let's try the octave fuzz. See what we get there. I like the nastiness of, it was basically a monophonic octave, so it kind of goes a little haywire when you throw double stops at it. Kind of fun. Let's see what happens if you pair these two together. Yeah. I guess you could, that's a little too much for me, but I guess there's some cool sound effects there to be had. But anyway, the last thing we haven't touched is the Univibe. Let's see what we're doing with that. Slow it down a little bit. See what it sounds like with the fuzz on it there. So it's really cool. I mean, you can adjust, as with the real unit, you can adjust the rate. The actual Univibe unit did have an expression pedal with which to adjust the rate on the fly. If you wanted to do something like that, basically you can right click and assign it to an expression pedal if you so choose. So that's pretty much it. Again, this really isn't I'm going to dial in the perfect Hendrix tone. This was just a very, very quick example of, I saw a diagram, I duplicated what was in that diagram in Helix very, very quickly. I literally just added these blocks right before I started recording the video. I haven't tweaked them until this. The only thing I did was to set the range of the wah. Just just because. But anyway, that's how easy it is. Again, I'll link to my other video, but if you learn to sound like, you know, the players you want to sound like and you're playing, this part goes pretty quickly, to be honest. I mean, you know, I can still sit here and tweak for hours because I like it and it's fun. But it's very simple to get the basic ballpark tones of your favorite players once you really know what they're using and kind of know how to do what they did on the instrument. So I hope that's helpful. Links to the Guitar Geek archive. I'll also link to that Dunlop wah chart so you can see the frequency chart. This preset will be a free download. Link will be in the description below. Having said that, I do have presets and patches on the Line 6 marketplace for both Variax and Helix. In fact, I've got a Sounds of the 60s preset pack on the marketplace that has a Hendrix preset in as part of the package. It's kind of similar to this, but I've dialed it in a bit more and some other things going on, some more fun little toys going on inside of the preset. One last thing I will say that I did not really talk about is the effect order. I did this the way Hendrix would have had it routed. What I mean by that is I did not put the Univibe modulation effect. I did not put it after the amp as you would typically do with modulation, because in the 60s that wasn't a thing. Effects loops and such and amps weren't around yet. So that's why this is set up as it is. Anyway, that aside, I hope this was helpful. You know, take a look around that website, find your favorite guitar player, and if you use Helix or Axe-Fx or whatever you use, if you have ways of emulating different amps and effects, it's a really fun experiment to do. It should help you get in the ballpark of your favorite artist. So all that's left then is just to learn how to play like them. That's the easy part, right? So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it helpful. Please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all that stuff. And until the next time, we'll see you.